Welcome to another edition of Bet with Bobano, Wednesday, June 19th. Ian Cameron and Connor Mack are with you, and it's all MLB on this Wednesday. The baseball card is where it's at. Before we get into that, though, a little bit of a big, I consider it a big announcement. I know people have gotten into this show over the last few months, enjoying it on a Monday and Wednesday, 2 days a week basis. Well, the big announcement that I'm about to make is this show will be expanding to weekdays, Monday to Friday, starting Tuesday, July the 2nd. So it's in a couple of weeks from now. The show will be every weekday starting Tuesday, July 2nd at 4 p.m. Eastern, the same time, 1 p.m. Pacific. We will not have a show on Monday, July the 1st because it's Canada Day holiday, so we'll take that day off. But starting Tuesday, July 2nd, this show will be 5 days a week. So Tuesday to Friday that week, and then Monday to Friday every week moving forward. And it'll probably be that way until October, when I reunite with Ski, with Dutch, and with Wham, on the NBA show that I do with them Tuesdays and Thursdays. And it'll probably go back to Monday and Wednesday at that time. But from now until about October, mid to late October, this show will be 5 days a week. So looking forward to that. C-Mac will join me as often as he can, multiple days a week. Looking forward to that, C-Mac.
Yeah, I'm pumped up. I knew you were going to go right to the 5 days a week. Never slows down for Bobano.
No.
I think I work pretty hard. This guy does for sure.
I appreciate that. No doubt. And look, this is still pretty good. That's going to be the only show I do, though, on a daily basis throughout July. It's just that show, because Ice Guys is done after the Stanley Cup final. And we'll get into that in just a moment. We've got a series on our hands all of a sudden in the Stanley Cup final. But yeah, Ice Guys will be winding down. I'll do the Ian Cameron's Football Frenzy stuff for CFL. We'll also do some NFL and college preview videos for Ian Cameron's Football Frenzy. I'll probably call on C-Mac and some other people to help me with those as well as we get ready for football. And of course, I'll have this show Monday to Friday. So it's still quiet compared to what I do in the fall and the winter, that's for sure. Before we get into the baseball, C-Mac, we do have to talk about the hockey, because that hockey game was just outstanding last night. It was a tremendous hockey game, exciting, back and forth. Edmonton got the lead. Florida came back. Florida got the lead, or Edmonton got the lead again. Florida came back, made it a one-goal game, but Edmonton hangs on. What can you say about Connor McDavid? I know everyone is going to wax poetic on his greatness today, but again, back-to-back games with 4 points. 8 points for Connor McDavid, 3 goals and 5 assists for him in the last 2 games for the Edmonton Oilers. He is trying to will this team back from a 3-0 series deficit, and they're halfway to erasing that deficit and winning the Stanley Cup. But if you're Florida, you still have 2 cracks to get it done. Great game last night, and Connor Mack, we've gone from maybe this being a sweep a few days ago to all of a sudden it's series on and it's up for grabs.
Yeah, shout out to our guy, Gold Juice, Timmy OG, my man, Razor Sharp.
Razor, good to see Razor. Hope you're doing well. It's been a long time since I've seen Razor. Hope he's good.
I'll be on his show here too while we're in July, so I'll be on a little bit more. Especially when I'm capping these cards sometimes here.
Shout out Razor Sharp. There we go.
Yeah. Shout out to my guy. I'll be on probably around 11 or noon. And that's towards the end of his show.
Razor Sharp. I'll tell you that right now. Oh my
yeah. Let's get to the hockey. I got the Panthers, Bobano, the 12-1 tickets. Yeah, I was feeling really, really good. Not so much now. And I'm not going to fucking hedge.
Hedging's
I'm not going to do it. Yeah, just disregard the hedging. I do not do that. Well, not that I've never done it, but I'm not doing it in this series. I thought the best was there when it was 4-2 the last 5 minutes of the second period. I thought that Florida had so many chances there.
Yep.
And I just thought to cut that to 1 right before at the end of the second and to get nothing there, I thought that was huge because they came out and it was too long. The first 10 minutes, I don't think they got a goal till they got that third. And then they ended up hanging on. Oilers, yeah. McDavid, he's got to be feeling good. There's a lot of heat on him. Those first few games, he didn't play great at all, and he's been money. So, yeah, I'm not too happy. That was fun. That was nice. I need the Panthers to come through. Come on.
Yep, the Florida Cup futures holders like me, like Alex B. Smith on the Ice Guys show, and Connor Mack, We're all feeling a little hot under the collar right now. With
Yeah.
this becoming a little more of a sweat than we wanted. But it's good for the sport, and it's good for ABC and ESPN because they're going to get at least another game, and it's getting more exciting. The drama is ratcheting up. Storylines are ratcheting up. Can Florida finally put it away and win their first cup as a franchise? Is the quote unquote best player in the sport right now, Connor McDavid, going to will his team back from a 3-0 deficit to win the series in 7 and win his first Stanley Cup? It's great storylines, and it's certainly got the makings of a great series. I'll tell you what the difference has been for Edmonton. Power play is starting to heat up.
It is.
Scenario for Florida. And the rush game for Edmonton, where now that's 2 games in a row, Edmonton had a 2-goal or 3-goal lead. It forced Florida to open things up. And all of a sudden, the speed of Edmonton takes over. They get more rush scoring chances off the rush, more odd man rushes, more 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s. And Florida is just having a much more difficult time containing Edmonton because they've been trailing early in these games. They've had to open up the game because they're down, and it plays right into Edmonton's hands. I think you can say that about both Game 4 and Game 5 last night that the Oilers won, C-Mac. It's Edmonton's getting to their game.
Yeah, I mean, they've just been able to figure out a little bit, and that's been big. The biggest thing, which I just talked about, just kind of the main thing, is they're the best power play, and they have to get it done, and they weren't getting it done. Nope. You know, their kill was a bit better. We had mentioned that, but they have to, because I think 5-on-5, and that's just a plus when they can, you know, have goals and get points like that with the Panthers 5-on-5. I still think Panthers are the better team overall. We need them here. So as much as it's all fun, the talk, man, my money speaks a lot louder. Come on, Panthers, let's get it done.
There you go. Stop screwing around and get it done. I agree with that. They got 2 chances. It's not time to panic yet.
I know about
2 chances, but all I know is if they don't win in Game 6 in Edmonton, and it goes back to
the heat is on.
Game 7 on Monday night, that's a coin flip, and all the pressure at that point's on Florida because they were the team up 3-0. And even though they have home ice for that Game 7, I don't know how much of an advantage that's going to give them, quite honestly, with all the pressure that they're going to be feeling. But Friday night, that's going to be must-see television. Game 6 in the Stanley Cup final with the Panthers and the Oilers. All right, let's get into MLB. We got a bunch of games here still on tap here on this Wednesday slate. And we will begin with the Seattle Mariners taking on the Cleveland Guardians. We've got Brian Wu on the mound for the Mariners, Tanner Bybee for Cleveland. We've got the Guardians -150 to -160 in some spots as home favorites. 7.5 the total in this game. A lot of money pouring in on Cleveland. I don't get why this much money coming in on Cleveland. I like the dog here, quite honestly. I like the Mariners here at a plus price. Brian Wu's been amazing. You know, you have not been able to hit this guy lately. He comes into this game in sparkling form for the Seattle Mariners, giving them a chance to win every time he's taken the bump. And you're going to give me upwards of plus, 135 to plus 140, on Seattle here. I'm going to take it. Plus 130 first 5 innings, plus 134, 35 as far as the full game money line. Brian Wu comes into this game with a 1.07 ERA in his last 6 starts. He's given up just 4 earned runs in his last 33.2 innings of work. Bybee actually has been a little bit better lately for the Guardians, but home ERA is 5.06, which still isn't very good. He struggled a bit here in his home ballpark. Seattle's red hot. I think they're playing some of their best ball of the season, 8-1 in their last 9 games. They've started to hit collectively as a lineup. I'm baffled by why the betting markets have taken such a stance against this red hot team and this unhittable pitcher as of late, Brian Wu. But I'm on Seattle here in this one. First 5 full games. C-Mac, what do you think here, Mariners, Guardians?
Yeah, Mariners winning games, and the offense slowly creeping up here a little bit, from 29th to 24th against righties. And, the Guardians against righties, they've been a lot better against lefties. Not they've been awful, but they were right around 18th or 19th. And basically for the full year, not too great as of late. It's good to have Ramirez back in the lineup. I know he just missed those 2 or 3 games in Toronto, but I think that's a big key, especially for Josh Naylor, having him in front of that lineup. But I agree with you a little bit. the Brian Wu forearm thing. I know it hasn't really mattered because he hasn't pitched a ton. He's kind of skipped around and he had to lay off. And this seems a game on the road where he could get hit hard. But you're right. The value, I'm a little shocked this is running to Bybee, who a guy I'd like to back, though, since last year. Thought there was a ton of value. I was on a lot of his first 5 unders. One thing with both these teams a little bit of late, I've had some trouble where the Guardians, even the Mariners better at home where their unders have been better, is the under.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd like to be on the under here. It just seems a little volatile. But I agree with you. I'd lean the Mariners a bit. Rodriguez started to swing a bat. Ty Francier's back in the lineup. Haniger, Raleigh, Moore's been swinging a pretty good bat. So, yeah, I don't blame you.
All right, Seattle for me, too good of a price. All right, next up, Orioles-Yankees. Cade Povich, no relation to Maury Povich here, the lefty for the Orioles. Garrett Cole on the mound for the New York Yankees. We got the Yankees minus 140, home favorites, 7.5 being the total. No one's pregnant with or had an affair or impregnated with a child. This is not the Maury Povich.
You're not the father.
Yeah, you're not the father. This is not the Maury Povich show. This is the Cade Povich show here for the Baltimore.
Is Maury still on? Is that show still on?
I think he just retired recently. I think he just finished this run on television like 2 years ago. But yeah, it was a great run for sure. Good point, Razor. Judge is out of the lineup tonight for the New York Yankees. That's important, obviously. Look, I thought this price was just way too big initially on the Yankees here. I get it. Garrett Cole's back. It's obviously been a great season for the Yankees, 51-24. They've been awesome. They're 23-10 at home. They get their ace back, Garrett Cole, their bell cow starting pitcher. First start of the season, back from the injured list. He could very well pitch well in this game. He had a great finish to the season last year. But still, you're talking about a guy that hasn't pitched in a long time, making his first start of the year, laying a big number. And it's not like Baltimore's chopped liver. It's a pretty good Baltimore team. Cade Povich has been kind of up and down so far. He had that bad first start against Toronto. He gave up 6 runs in 5.1 innings, but he sure pitched better last time out against a pretty good Atlanta Braves lineup. Shut him out, only gave up 5 hits, 6 strikeouts in 6 innings against Atlanta in his last start. So much better from the lefty, Cade Povich, in that game. I don't hate the people taking Baltimore because there's been a ton of money coming in on Baltimore here. Yankees open minus 180. It's all the way down to minus 140. Again, Judge being out of the lineup probably contributes to that a little bit. I think you've lost a lot of value now if you're going to take Baltimore, but I didn't move on either side in this game. It's a pass for me. C-Mac, what do you think here? Orioles, Yankees.
Yeah, I took the Orioles. When I saw the plus 150 earlier, I'm glad it's dropped. I had to take it. And the big key here is with our guy, Cade Povich. Maury Povich. If he has a control, Cade Maury Povich. Yeah, he's had some control problems. He's got 4 or 5 though, pretty good pitches. Yankees, Judge out of the lineup too. They haven't been great against lefties. I mean, obviously with him in, it's a lot better. But all year they're just hitting 241, so that isn't great. And one thing with our guy Garrett Cole, off the few starts, he's only going to go probably 4 here. That's what he went about in the minor league starts. I know that last one he looked really good. He had 10 Ks. But the Orioles, kind of like the Rays in division, have had success with him. Now, he's had some very good games as well. There's a shutout in there and shit like that. But some of these guys get to him, and they haven't ripped him. But I had to be on the O's here, plus 150. I like the lineup, too, that the O's have out here. So, yeah, O's plus 150. I like this under. A lot of over love. This is dropped, I think, a few spots, 7.5. I wanted to double check here again. All 7.5. Okay. Yeah, I like the 8. I was kind of balking at that. Morale is one of the better umps I like. That's an under ump, 3-10 of the year in this game. So, but Povich, I was a little bit worried just in case he gave up some that this game could get over. So lean under, give me the O's.
Right, Baltimore, and I don't hate that at all. I thought when that price came out, this is a Garrett Cole tax. What, he's just going to be rolling
lights out,
pitch a lot of innings, and just be lights out? First time starting in a long time. I'm not so sure.
I thought about going first 5, but the O's pen lately hasn't been great. The Yankees a little bit shaky, just as of late.
Yep.
From the full year, so I just went full game because I thought about going first 5, but I didn't want that 12. I just went full game.
Yeah, I thought definitely when initially, it's like when this price opened, there's definitely good value on Baltimore. I don't disagree with that one bit. Definitely could see that being the case. All right, next up, we've got, as we continue along here, Red Sox and Blue Jays. We've got Brian Bayo against Kevin Gausman. The pitching matchup here, we've got the Blue Jays minus 135, home favorites, 8 the total. This is Boston or pass for me. I'm not laying a price like this with Toronto. They've lost the first 2 games of this series. Red Sox are red hot. No pun intended. They're playing, I think, some of their best ball of the season. They've really turned things on. They're above 500 now, Boston. You got to give them credit. And really, it's up and down their lineup. It's Duran. Jaron Duran is hitting for them. Devers has been good. You're getting a lot of Boston hitters at the same time collectively swinging the bats real well right now. I can't lay a price with this Toronto team. Offense is spotty. It's inconsistent. It's schizophrenic. I do think Gausman's a little bit better pitcher than Bayo. That would be the one thing I would say, is that I do give a little bit of an advantage here to Gausman on the mound. Bayo's been kind of erratic himself, up and down. Maybe the over in this game. Boston's swinging the bat well. I know Gausman's been in good form, but I could see the Red Sox and they're red hot. Look, the Red Sox have scored 8-9, 8-9, 7-4. In 6 of their last 7 games. Like, they're swinging the bat. They're scoring runs. I think they could probably get enough off of Gausman, even though Gausman's had a decent last couple of starts. But last time he faced a really good lineup was Baltimore, and they pummeled Gausman, 6 runs back on June 3rd. Bayo's been inconsistent. I think the Jays, even their lineup, which they can get shut down by a bad pitcher, Toronto. They've done it. It's happened to them so many times, but Bayo really isn't in good form right now. He's given up 14 runs in his last 14 innings. That's not very good. So I got to hope Toronto can contribute a little offensively here. I would look over 8 in this game, and I could only take Boston at the plus number, given the form of these two teams. What do you think here, Connor? Red Sox, Jays.
Yeah, Bayo, let's start with him. He hasn't been good, like you mentioned. And it's like, maybe it's not till maybe he gets back home. I don't know, something wrong with him, because he's been, it seems like he has at least 3. I know out of his last 5, one of those he gave up 2, but it's been at least 4. The Jays have hit him pretty well. Flip side, Gausman, he's got hit too. He had some pretty good numbers. When I was checking last year's starts, he had a horrible one. The other 2, he just went 5 and gave up 2, but he gave up 8. But I think that was in Boston. But can we trust it? This is a guy, I can't take his stuff today is Vladdy. He's 7 for 14, 2 doubles, 2 homers. He hasn't had an RBI in 10 days. But man, is he going to break out? I guess you could play that small, because I had him circled, but I'm like, he hasn't done anything as of late. The power hasn't been there. He hasn't hit a homer in a minute. He has good numbers. We'll see if he can do it. And this is, it's just weird. They're thinking the Jays get one here at home after losing the first 2, because it's moving the lines, moving their way. I don't buy it. And too much volatility. The numbers are too good, because other things make me want to take the under, but the lineups have been too good. I will move on Devers here. I think he was 7 for 24, but he's been red hot. Even yesterday, 2 for 5. He didn't have an RBI, but his RBI is plus 150. His homers plus 400. And even Duran, like you mentioned, he's 5 for 10, 4 doubles off Gausman. His 1.5 plus 116, I think, is worth a little bit as well.
I agree with you there. I think definitely Duran and Devers. I like prop for both of those guys. Jaron Duran as well, leading off at the top of the lineup here for Boston. He's been pretty good lately. I think he's had hits now. I think he's on a consecutive game hit streak. He is. He's on a 10-game consecutive game hit streak right now for the Boston Red Sox. And, he's had multiple games where he's had doubles as well. So I think whether it's total bases for him, worth a look.
I go total bases. At that price, it's plus 116. I love it. And Devers, too, just as in the last 13, he's only not had it in one game. Yeah. So,
and he's worth a home run prop, too, because Gausman can give up the home run ball as well. If you talk about Jack, I got our guy on Twitter asking us for some home run prop picks today on the show.
I'm on this one.
More into Devers now that everything's winding down. I like Devers, too, as far as a home run
400.
Prop. Makes a lot of sense as well in this one. All right, next up, we continue along here. We've got the Rays and the Twins, I believe, next up. Yes, we do. Rays and Twins. We've got Taj Bradley, Joe Ryan, the pitching matchup. Minnesota minus 160, home favorite, 7.5 the total. Yeah, I lean to Ryan and the Twins here, but it's well priced. I mean, minus 160. I don't see a ton of value to back them. I know I don't want Bradley here for the Rays. He's not someone I've had a boatload of trust in. He is off a really good start against the Cubs, but he's also been hammered on a couple of occasions here for the Tampa Bay Rays. And I'm a big fan of Joe Ryan. Joe Ryan is bet on for me. I'm not stepping in front of him. He's had 2 really good starts in a row. He got to 7 innings in both of them against Oakland and Pittsburgh. 2 runs allowed in each of those starts. Like I said, I lean Twins. I think they win. I like Joe Ryan. I look to bet on him. I just don't want to bet on him at this price. What do you think here, Connor? Rays Twins.
Yeah, the price is the whole key. And it's just like, if I moved on the Twins at this number, I could do it. You'd have to go the -1 or the run line here at home, which certain teams you feel that good, I would go with it. I know you lose the at bat, but if you really like the bet and love it, I'm not that crazy about not taking that. Taj Bradley, I like the guy. I think, I know he had one shit start. I think it was the O's, Bobano, I think, where he gave up 9. But his starts haven't been too bad. You mentioned the last one was the Cubs. Cubs maybe starting to hit a little bit. They have their own problems. We can get to them another day. But I think Joe Ryan pitches well. I like this under. There's just been some overs a little more lately. I like the 8, but the 7.5. You don't have the 7. That was a no-go for me. Even the last week, when so many games with the 7, it basically pushed like 3 of them. So they were just, they ended up pushing. And a couple lost, but 7.5. I think Joe Ryan can pitch well. I don't trust these offenses. Correa's been hot lately. Royce Lewis, since he's back. Max Kepler to homer yesterday.
Lewis,
he was a guy.
Total bases, home run props, like them both. I think they're worth a look, especially home run prop more so for Lewis, because Lewis has that leave the yard potential now that he's healthy again.
I want to see the Twins be a little bit the offense more consistent at times. That's always been the problem with them. This team's 9 games over 500. It doesn't seem like it. To me, they're a 500 pace, maybe a little bit better. But, yeah, I do like the under here. That's my lead.
All right, good stuff. Like I said, more props than anything for me. I like Royce Lewis, and I like Correa as well. Total bases and home run prop. I like the home run prop a little more, though, for Lewis than I do for Correa. Correa is probably a better total base option than home run prop as far as this game tonight. All right, next up, as we continue along here, we've got the Mets and the Rangers here. Sean Manaea, the lefty for the Mets. Andrew Heaney, lefty, a battle of southpaws. Heaney for Texas. Even money here, -110, 8 the total. People that have watched me doing talking baseball, whether it's with Jimmy the Bag on Betting with the Bag when I've been on that, whether it was the initial closing line MLB show I did on Pub with CMAC for a few years there. My philosophy when we're talking about teams that are playing like the Mets right now. You either ride them and you back them, or you stay the hell out of the way. That is what you do. And right now, the New York Mets are a one-way team for me. Either I'm betting on them or I'm passing the game. They are feeling it right now. 8-1 in their last 9 games. 7 straight wins coming into this one. They swept the Padres at home. They've won each of the first 2 games of this series, including a thrilling comeback last night to beat the Texas Rangers 7-6. I've been riding the Mets these last few games. I was on everything Mets. That game was beautiful last night, C-Mac. I had Mets first 5, Mets full game, Mets team total over, full game over as well with the Mets and Texas Rangers last night.
Wow, quadruple up?
Quadruple up last night.
Wow. Quadruple up. Hey.
Sweep the board there, too, with the 4-0. Mets first 5 full game money line, Mets team total over, full game over. I'm going back to the same 4 tonight. And I'm hoping for 3-1 or better. That's the goal. Try to be 3-1 or better. Now, Manaea is not someone I've really rushed to back. And he had 2 really brutal starts to begin the month against Arizona and Philly. But he did bounce back last time against San Diego. 1 run, 4 hits, 5 innings. He has been roughed up by Texas, but those were a few years ago. Hasn't been recently. And Texas against lefties, 237 average as a team, but only 155 batting average as a team against lefties in the last 10. So Texas has had a bit of an issue. Their offense really hasn't been great overall lately. Meanwhile, the Mets are the opposite. They are swinging the bats like you wouldn't believe right now. Just in the last 4 games, 5, 11, 14, 7 as far as runs scored. Andrew Heaney on the mound for the Texas Rangers. It actually hasn't been that bad, but he is what he is. He's going to pitch 4 or 5 innings. He's going to give up 3, 4 runs. That's Andrew Heaney. That's what you get out of him. And when you look at the Mets numbers against lefties, 276 as a team in the last 10 games, 6.2. The last 10 games, Mets are averaging 6.2 against lefties, runs per game. Texas 1.7 runs per game against lefties. What a difference. I'm going back to the Mets again here. First 5, full game, Mets team total. Over 4 minus 120 is what I got at Caesars with the team total. And I'm going to go to the full game over as well, 8, because there is a part of me that thinks, well, the Mets can hit Heaney and that Texas bullpen, who they came back against last night. I do think Texas can score some runs too against Minaya a little bit as well. And again, we're talking about an 8 with a total, which to me, we can get over that kind of a number. What do you think here, C-Mac, Mets, Rangers?
Yeah, it's just dropped to 8.5. There's still some 8.5s, but down to 8. I know. I mean, it's pretty hard to just say, yeah, take the Rangers today with Andrew Heaney on the bump at this price, right? So it's just when you're rolling with the team and it's like it's this price, I think, yeah, you just got to stay with it. The biggest keys and in this lineup, which I like with the Mets, I mean, they have Nimmo, who has all right numbers. They have good numbers against Heaney. Is these 3 guys, JD Martinez, who's been good. I know yesterday he didn't do much, but Alonso finally waking up. Polar Bear, he's been red hot. And when you can hit a lefty, look to his props. But this guy's been, so I don't mind those 2 guys, especially Alonso. Martinez, 4 for 11, 2 homers. This guy, 2 for 3 with a homer off Heaney. He hit a homer for me last week, Starling Marte, and he's in the 5-hole. So much as I go with his over 1.5, and before the last, like he went 1 for 5 yesterday, he had been 2 for 3, 2 for 4, just a ton of 2-hit games last week. So the 1.5 plus 140, but I kind of like him in this 5-hole, the RBI. It's plus 200 to have a piece of that, and even the Jack plus 750 for the Jack here on Marte. I'll have a piece of that, and I don't blame you, Mets. That's nothing.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's value on Marte. There's value on even at the top of the lineup right now, Francisco Lindor. Francisco Lindor with what he's been able to do here of late as well. And if you look at Lindor, I think he's got decent numbers against Heaney as well. So you put that together, and I think Lindor, anybody, you can take your pick with the Mets. Like when the whole lineup is feeling it like they are right now, you can have a field day with these props, total bases, home run, RBI, really go to town on them. I think they're all decent options. Lindor, Alonso, Nimmo, and as you mentioned, Connor Mack, Starling Marte as well. I definitely think they are all good looks here for props tonight for a red-hot surging Mets team and a Mets offense especially.
Yeah, with a lefty too, certain guys like JD Martinez is good. We all know that. But when the splits have been always, that's what he's been better off, is lefties. Yeah. When you look at his whole career, it's over 300 off lefties. So that's where I want him.
All right, good stuff. On we go. Astros and White Sox. It is Hunter Brown and Garrett Crochet, your pitching matchup here. Houston minus 120, road favorite, 7 the total. I mean, Crochet is the real deal. I've been impressed. Unfortunately, the Mets 20-54, and Crochet gets priced like a very good pitcher because the White Sox are only getting plus 100 in this game, barely even money. So they've adjusted the prices for how good, obviously, Garrett Crochet has been this year for the Chicago White Sox. He's just been great. I mean, look at this. I mean, 2 runs or less in 5 straight starts. His overall numbers on the year continue to be very good. 3.16 ERA, even better here at home. 2.36 ERA for Garrett Crochet. Meanwhile, after a brutal, and I mean brutal start to the season, Hunter Brown didn't look right for Houston early in the season. He was getting crushed in April. Well, he's turned it around and he's figured it out. He's given up 3 runs or less in 5 straight starts, 2 straight starts without giving up a single run, 13-inning scoreless streak coming into tonight for Hunter Brown, shutting out both the Angels and the Tigers in his last 2 starts. So he's found the good form. Probably looks like an under here with these two. It stayed under last night with the Astros and the White Sox, and the pitchers are even better, in my opinion, on both sides here tonight between these 2 teams. So probably a first 5 full game under lean for me. What do you think here, C-Mac? Houston, Chicago.
Yeah, Crochet's been so good. No bargain here, price. And then the Astros, too, this was an under lean for me, the 7, and the Astros after getting shut out. It's like, I don't know if they get shut out again. It seems like they could score some runs. Minimal at bats too with a few of these guys, just Bregman, off Crochet. Hunter Brown too. It's just been a different pitcher the last month or so. His starts have been really, really good. Yeah, when I looked at this game, White Sox, I think with him on the mound, first 5, this is about as low as you want to go because that offense just isn't. When are you going to get the runs at times? It's like, can they scratch a couple off against Hunter Brown? But yeah, this was one that way, and I lean under, but we have the 7.
Yeah, I think definitely it feels like it's going to be probably a little bit of a lower scoring game. We'll see if that is indeed going to be the case here for this particular matchup.
What was the weather
by
here?
the way, too, in the Texas game? Seager home run prop. I forgot to mention him. Seager does have a home run against Manaea and good numbers against Manaea. Remember, Manaea was with Oakland, and Seager saw a lot of them before. So,
I have him written down because they try to up his price. Obviously, he'd be dealing with the hamstring, hasn't played much. He hit 1 for 4, but you're getting a crazy price with him. Yeah, 3 for 6 with a homer, and his numbers off lefties are good. I mean, he's classic lefty, can get him. He could pull off the ball and kind of the low grounder, but the guy's just a great hitter. So it doesn't matter lefty, righty, and you always get a better bargain. So yeah, good point.
All right, on we go. We've got the Dodgers and the Rockies next up. Bobby Miller, Ryan Feltner. The matchup here, pitching wise, Dodgers -190, road favorites, 10.5 the total here in this game. Rockies end up getting the job done last night against the. The Dodgers.
Dodgers came back, yeah.
Dodgers came back and won 11-9 last night against the Rockies.
Rockies can't take them, Bobano. Real quick, the bullpen worst in baseball.
Terrible,
crazy.
I'm back on the over. I was on the over in the first 2 games of this series. I know it's a high total. Bobby Miller, I don't want to say I've soured on the guy, but I need to see more. He was a little too erratic for my liking last year. I'm not exactly sure that he's going to be someone that I trust here in the Coors Field environment necessarily going into this game. That being said, he did pitch all right here last September. He did start here, 2 runs, 7 innings, but can he duplicate that? Feltner, I don't trust. He's been ripped by the Dodgers repeatedly. He's given up 8, 12, 16 runs in his last 15 innings. That's the Ryan Feltner I know. He has really struggled in the last 3 starts. 6.89 ERA here at Coors Field this season in Denver. I'm just going to go over the total. I think the Dodgers can do damage. They can get the 9 runs and the 11 runs like they got in the first 2 games. But I think Colorado can do a little bit enough to help contribute to the over as well. So nothing on the side. I'm just going to go over 10.5 here with this one. Connor Mack, what do you think here? Dodgers, Rockies.
Yeah, with Feltner in 2022, he just went 3 1/3. I don't know how he left that game against the Dodgers, didn't get anything. But last year, the 2 starts, 1 in LA, 1 at home, 5 runs. That's what it seems like. Even with this Dodger, with no Mookie Betts, they should get plenty of runs. I'm surprised it's gone down a half run. I know after all these scoring runs, games, like a game like that, Bobano, you kind of look under, especially with just the Dodgers do it seems like. When they put up 13-2, then they don't. When you have a guy like Feltner, I don't know how you not take the over. That's the first thing I looked at because I've been watching Bobby Miller starts. I don't think he's looked great in the minors. I mean, he's getting 4 strikeouts. He's walking 2 or 3. He's gone 4, 3 1/3. He gave up 4, 1 walk, no Ks. They just haven't been great. His last start, 4-2 versus Sugarland, he gave up 5 earned, 3 walks, 4 Ks. So I agree with you here. A piece of that over. Give me the Rockies again. I know it's Feltner. That's the whole. They basically kind of have to outscore him, but you can't go Rockies full game. First 5, the price is just too big, so I have a piece of that. And there's guy I want here, McMahon. Price is crazy here. His RBI's +185 in the 4-hole. He's just, I believe, that 1 game versus Miller last year, or one time he pitched in Coors. He only gave up a couple off 7 hits, but +6/125 home run. This is the jack that you want. Our guy right here in the middle. There's one guy that I've circled. I talked about Vladdy not doing anything. This guy, and he's in the 2-hole, Jones, off a 20 home run season last year. But he's finally swinging a better bat, but no power here for Nolan Jones. 2 for 3 off Bobby Miller. I just think he could get going. So look out. That caught my eye today that I think this guy's going to get going. He's just too good of a hitter to be hitting whatever he's doing. The average has gone up, but not the extra base hits. Is not even at the 200 mark with one bomb. So, like, he had his first 3-hit game the other day. So look for Jones, but definitely on McMahon here. Yeah, and the Rocks.
I'm with you on McMahon. Tovar's never a bad option. Ezekiel.
Oh, I love that guy.
Tovar. He's terrific. Jones should be better, and you're right. I'm looking at it now. 2 for 3 in his career against Bobby Miller. So maybe this is.
He's gonna get going. He's too good of a hitter from all his minor league stat. Like, the guy's just, he's too good. You'll get wrong.
Look, if I'm going to bet someone in their player props when they're in a hitting slump, they've got to have the history of doing well against that starting pitcher, and you have that with Nolan Jones, who is 2 for 3 against Bobby Miller.
Yeah. And I don't love it going after these guys that are cold, but it's like, I think he's going to get going soon. And this seems like put maybe a little bit on. Like, man, to me, is the play, but because I think he's going to get hot here soon.
Yeah, no question. So we like runs, and like I said, not a bad game for some player props as well. All right, we got 2 games left. Brewers and Angels. Next up, we've got Freddie Peralta and Tyler Anderson, the pitching matchup. Brewers minus 190. Road favorites. The total in this one at 8.5, depending on what book you are looking at. Freddie Peralta's not really good right now. He's kind of gone backward after a good start. He's a good pitcher. He's not in the greatest of forms right now. If you look at the last 3 starts, he's labored. White Sox, 3 runs, 4 hits, only went 5 innings. His pitch count got up. Same thing against Detroit, 4 runs, 4 hits. 3.1 innings, 94 pitches. He labored in that game as well. 5 walks. Control and command has been an issue. And then last time against Cincinnati, he got bombed. 6 runs, 10 hits, 5.1 innings. So Freddie Peralta, his form has dipped and declined here a little bit in the month of June. I'm not ready to lay this kind of price with him here in this start. And Tyler Anderson, I keep waiting for this guy to come back down to like everything screams regression is on the way for Tyler Anderson here for the Angels, but he does continue to perform his metrics. 1 run, 5 hits, 5.1 innings. His last start against San Francisco. He did get hit by the Astros a little bit, but other than that, he's given up just 1 run in 4 of his last 5. Maybe this is a live dog here, and it's. I don't want to take him. There's a bad team, the Angels, 29-44 overall, 12-24 at home, but they did win last night. Or they did win the opener, I should say, against the Brewers 5-3. They did lose last night by a score of 6-3, but I just don't like the form. And I know Brewers are certainly the much better team, but I don't like the form of Peralta enough right now to lay minus 190. No way. So I would actually lean Angels. Maybe the over gets there because I think the Brewers can do some damage here against Anderson. And I think with the form of Peralta, maybe the Angels can get on the board a little bit. And I believe we saw the over hit in each of the first. Well, the first game landed on 8. The second game last night ended up going over the total with 9, and the total was 8.5. This total is 8 at some books. So if you can find that 8, I think the over might be worth a look here. What do you think here, Connor? Brewers, Angels.
Maybe, because just that last start was just awful. I think he could pitch a little bit better. This Angels team, I just wanted him a little bit more against lefties all year long. So I think he could pitch well. I don't trust the Brewers hitting lefties. Like, they've moved up, like they're like 23rd. They've hit some shit lefties. And Anderson's kind of like not the dominant lefty, but not awful. So it's like, I mean, because there's some guys in this lineup that, in the passive solid numbers off lefties, Contreras, Hoskins, but they haven't done anything. And all those numbers, the XFIT, all his velocity, like, when's it going to happen for Anderson? I don't know. Maybe it just keeps going. So this was tough for me, but I did think the values with the Angels. And you know how I look at the Angels first 5 and get some runs maybe off Peralta. First 5 only, other than the Rockies, I think the worst bullpen in the league. And they are. They're second to last with the Rockies ERA. So, and Ward hit that bomb. That was an unbelievable catch last night. That would have tied up the game. So, yeah, I like the Angels a little bit here, first 5.
All right, first 5 for the Angels. And, stay away from that bullpen. No doubt best advice if you're going to take the Angels. All right, last game, Kansas City Royals, Oakland Athletics. We've got Kansas City minus 185, road favorites, 7.5 the total. Cole Reagan's the lefty on the mound for Kansas City. Oakland going with that funky cold Medina. Luis Medina here for Oakland.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, Medina.
Yeah, funky cold. He is cold. He's living up to that name. He is
Yeah.
cold Medina, in fact, because he has not pitched well in his last 2 starts for Oakland. 10 runs, 13 hits in his last 9.2 innings against Toronto and Minnesota. So been a rough go for Medina. Reagan's has been pretty much consistent all year. I mean, 3 runs, 0 runs, 1 run, 2 runs. He's been very solid. 3.14 ERA. His home ERA 3.14. His road ERA 3.13. So he's been able to pitch well at home and on the road. I think Kansas, this is the one favorite where I'm willing to maybe go -0.5, -1, first 5 full game run line split on Kansas City. I definitely think they've got the advantage here with Reagan's on the mound. Meanwhile, you look at Oakland here against lefties, just 231, 2.7 runs per game against lefties the last 10. So, yeah, for me, I would only look Kansas City, a first 5 full game run line split, probably. What do you think here, C-Mac?
Yeah, yesterday the line was a little funky. I still thought the Royals could get to 4 runs, which they did. They got to the 5. I just can't back Medina. And there's some spurts, and this total's down to 7, where he can look really, really good. You know, he's got the heater and the nasty slider, but he just gets hit way too hard at times. So, yeah, I do. The price is big. You'd have to maybe go the half. I'm going to stay off the game. I look to right to this guy. The price is big with him. I know there you don't think of too many home runs, but Bobby Witt, it's plus 600. His RBI is plus 155. That's the guy I look at there.
Yeah, Bobby Witt, never a bad decision for sure with what we have seen out of him. There's no question about that. He's been very good for the Kansas City Royals, giving them a good pop in their lineup. So we'll see if he can keep that going and maintain that here tonight for the Kansas City Royals. Good stuff there indeed. Looks like we've got, there we go. Sorry, the screen locked up for a moment. But yeah, Bobby Witt, I think, has got decent numbers too against Mr. Medina, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just, no, he hasn't faced him yet, but no, he's been in good form still. He's obviously had a very good season, so no argument with the Bobby Witt props either for the
off of 0 for 5
Royals. All right, there's the MLB card. Yes, yeah, no doubt. Good time to buy in and look for him maybe to bounce back a little bit. That's it. The NBA is done. NHL is not back until Friday with Game 6, so we go right to best bets here to wrap up the show for this Wednesday. C-Mac, what do you got for best bet?
Yo, give this. Maury Povich's dad here from Timothy. Shirley Povich, sports columnist for the Washington Post. He wrote a book about it in the Washington Senators. Right on, my dude.
There you go. He's a sports guy. Very good. Good to know, yeah.
I did know that. I know he loves playing golf.
Yep.
There's a few here. This under in the Rays game I really like, but I took it earlier. First game, Orioles plus 150, going against Big Bag Garrett Cole. Give me him here today. Come on, Povich. Speaking of Povich, there we go. God damn it, don't let me down. Oh,
Cade
plus 150.
He is not the father. Cade Povich here.
He is.
Baltimore.
He needs to be the Yankees' daddy today, though.
That's it. Exactly. Yeah, 100%. Great punt right there. Baltimore. Look, you're not getting as good of a. I think definitely plus 150. If you got that right away on Baltimore, that's a heck of a price. Because I'm not sold that this is just Garrett Cole mowing them down his first start in a long time. But Baltimore plus 120 for C-Mac for his best bet here for this Wednesday MLB slate. My best bet here for the card, I'm going to, because Mania does worry me a little bit. I'm going to go with the over team total instead with the Mets, instead of the money line. That's what I'm going to go with. Team total for the Mets, over 4, minus 118. They've been ripping the ball, tearing the cover off it. Everyone in good form. Lindor's been hitting better. Nimmo's on fire. Alonso heating up. We think Marte is a good matchup tonight against Andrew Heaney. So put it all together, this red-hot Mets team, I think they go over their team total once again, which they've been doing with regularity the last several games. So New York Mets team total, over 4, minus 120 for my best bet here for this Wednesday MLB card. That's a wrap. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. Again, the big announcement, Bet with Bobano will expand to weekdays, 5 days a week, starting Tuesday, July the 2nd. So we're very much looking forward to that. Make sure you tune into Football Frenzy. I'll be posting the CFL Week 3 preview show with me and Chris Dalvizi earlier today. So looking forward to make sure you check that out. And of course, we've got football previews all summer coming up. Once we get into July, be ripping off the NFL division and college football conference previews on Ian Cameron's Football Frenzy right here on this YouTube channel. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Make sure you do that. There is a lot of summer sports betting content between this Bet with Bobano show weekdays and the football content that we're going to be rolling out throughout the summer. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming to my own YouTube channel here. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button right here on the YouTube channel. But shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button again on the way out. For Connor Mack, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Wednesday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. As always, bet like Tony Soprano, bet with Bobano, and we will see you again Monday next week for another edition of Bet with Bobano.
Peace.